Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Modern Warfare Remastered In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the M4 Carbine, also known as the M4A1, which is one of the most classic weapons in any Call of Duty game and a fan favorite. So favorite, in fact, it shows up in Infinite Warfare as the NV4, and a version of it has been in almost every Call of Duty game since. When Modern Warfare first came out, I actually truly did not like the M4. I much preferred the other weapons. However, over time and going back with a different perspective has softened me on this gun, and I have started liking it a little bit. All of the gameplay you're going to get to see is going to be me using it with stopping power, with the exception of when I'm using a suppressor, that will be with the normal damage. And speaking of which, it'll deal 30 damage up close and decrease to 20 damage at a distance. This means it can take between 4 and 5 shots to kill, and that is very low damage, especially for Modern Warfare Remastered, which has a lot of super high damage weapons and a lot of 1 and 2 shot kill type weapons. This is a lot of hit markers, especially for an assault rifle. However, when you put stopping power on it, that's 40% bonus damage, so it'll deal 42 up close and decrease to 28 at a distance, or 1 less shot to kill at every range, which is 3 up close and 4 at a distance, and that'll make it feel much better, much more reasonable, much less hit markers, and most of the time you're going to be getting 3-shot kills with this weapon. I'll talk about the range in just a second, but we need to talk about headshots next. Headshots are another 40% bonus damage, but because of the way the numbers are set, that'll push it over 50 or over 35 respectively, so that means they're useful at all ranges. At any range, a headshot will get you 1 less shot to kill. There are not many weapons in this game, or really any Call of Duty game, where I can say that, but headshots are absolutely the way to go on the M4. There is no range, no scenario, and no engagement where headshots are not useful, so go for them any opportunity that you get. And speaking of ranges, the maximum damage range is 38 meters. Now, I had some requests coming in from previous episodes to give an actual figure or example of this range, because 38 meters may not mean a whole lot to people. This is the 3-shot kill range on the M4 Carbine if you're just running stopping power in a good old red dot sight. Did some testing here with J-Hub, and we slowly crept closer until it got a 3-shot kill, but that adds a sort of visual unit or measurement to your 38 meters. And if you're running a suppressor and not stopping power, it's got a 4-shot kill range that looks something kind of like this. I thought it would be important for you to see. Moving on, let's talk about the rate of fire. It fires at 857 rounds per minute, which is the fastest firing fully automatic assault rifle in Modern Warfare Remastered. That's faster than the AK, the STG-44, faster than the G36. It's not as fast as, say, the burst of the M16, but it is still very fast. It is definitely the bullet hose of the crew, and that helps increase the time to kill and makes it more competitive despite dealing low damage. Speaking of which, the M4 Carbine has a slightly slower than average time to kill, but not by much. It's probably closer to average than it is to slow, but it's just on the other side of the curve. Sometimes it kills a little slower than the, well, not sometimes, a lot of the times than the M16, but sometimes more than the LMGs, or sometimes a little slower than the AK-47. Just a smidge. You probably won't notice it, but this isn't necessarily the best one-on-one gunfight weapon. And another downside it has is that the M4 has more idle sway than any other assault rifle. I don't typically talk about idle sway because it doesn't make that big of an impact on your aim, with the exception of the M4. So I loaded up the gun range in Modern Warfare Remastered, and you can see this is the idle sway on the M4, which doesn't look bad, but when you compare it to the M16 on the right, you'll notice there is a colossal difference. The M16 is steady, it doesn't wobble, it doesn't sway, whereas the M4 is kind of all over the place, and at longer ranges, this will definitely cause you to miss shots and be less accurate, but it's not that big of a deal because the M4 is not really designed for long range anyway. It's kind of more of a close to medium range assault rifle. And when it comes to accuracy, the overall accuracy is very high, but the precision is very low. It's not very consistent, it's not easy to predict. It will kick both to the left and to the right of center. I do think it's one of the best assault rifles for full auto spraying. Some people have a tendency to love this recoil pattern. I'm more of a guy that just prefers the straight vertical crazy kick upwards. However, this one, if you put it on target and spray and don't try to correct your recoil too much, it always crosses back over center and is extraordinarily easy to use. Because of the high rate of fire and the overall good handling statistics, it's pretty easy to hip fire with, but because of the low damage, you're going to be outgunned by submachine guns most of the time, so don't challenge MP5 and AK-74U users with this. You won't be happy with your results, but you totally can hip fire in a pinch. I find the iron sights to be very obstructive. I can barely use them properly. This might just be me. I know some of you guys absolutely love these M-series weapons iron sights. I personally do not, and that's one of the primary reasons I don't recommend using it with a silencer, or suppressor is a more accurate way to say it, because I have a difficult time tracking targets at long range. Of course, up close and medium it's fine, but it's very frustrating to use at long ranges, and that's not something I would want any of you to experience. Another thing to keep in mind with this weapon is that adding an ACOG sight will both increase your recoil and slow down your aim down sights time. So it's going to make the gun kick more, and you're going to aim down sights slower than you would without it. So I strongly do not recommend an ACOG sight, especially because it's not really a long-range weapon anyway. Yeah, you can do it. You can still kill people. It's not impossible, but there are much better attachments to run, which is going to lead me into my recommended class setup. I think this one is best with stopping power, bandolier, red dot sight, and extreme conditioning. Stopping power increases the damage, makes it much more consistent, feels good. I run bandolier because I have a tendency to spray with this weapon, and I really need the extra ammo capacity. I spray a lot. The 90 bullets in reserve just doesn't do it for me. Red dot sight is the tried and true absolute best attachment. Can't go wrong there. And extreme conditioning, because with this one I'm sprinting more often than not. I'm not hip firing. I'm not trying to punch through walls because of the low damage. I use extreme conditioning to get from location to location and try and flank and hose people, and that's how I'd recommend you do it too. Guys, that is all for this in-depth episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.